Before we begin, let's take a tiny joy moment together. Wherever you are right now, maybe you're walking or driving, picking up the kids, running errands, or just taking a quiet moment to sit, I invite you to pause for just a breath. Inhale slowly, exhale gently. Now notice one small thing around you that feels good. Maybe it's the warmth of the room, the sound of your own breathing, a message you received from a friend today. Maybe it's a memory that makes you smile. It doesn't have to be big, and it certainly does not have to be perfect. Just something simple, something kind. Let yourself hold that for a moment, because joy doesn't always arrive in fireworks. Sometimes it shows up in whispers, and today we're choosing to listen. I'm going to ask my special guest to share maybe a tiny joy moment she's had.
Sure, I'd love to. Today I was just moseying around the house and I heard someone at the door.
Okay.
I said, who's here at 2 o'clock in the day? And I went to the door and it was my cousin and friend Kat.
Ooh.
We had talked earlier. And so we had a nice hug. Then we went down and got some loquats. That was
Ooh.
a really joyful moment. That really
Yeah,
was.
and unexpected. It sounds like you weren't expecting them to stop by.
Oh, no, I was not expecting that.
That's really, it's a good moment. It's nice to have those unexpected sparks of joy in our day.
You're right. True that.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that with us.
Mm.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Held with Joy. Held with Joy is a sacred and practical space where psychological well being, emotional health, and spiritual health meet. The space where we talk about gentle practices that help us live with intention, especially in challenging seasons. I'm your host, Kelly Holder, and my heart behind this podcast is simple: to remind you that joy is always available, even when life feels heavy. Today is a special conversation. It's a privilege to sit with someone who has walked through many seasons of leadership and life and who brings years of wisdom with her. Our guest today is Dr. Sheila Holder. Before she speaks, I'm going to introduce her and give you her bio. She has served as a teacher, a principal, a superintendent, a coach for educators. She's lived the sacred and complicated roles of mother, caregiver, patient, and widow. Through each season, she has led, loved, grieved, persevered, and continued to show up. It's an honor to have her here. She is also my mother in love, who I affectionately call Gran because that's what my kids call her. And so it's an honor to have you here with us, and thank you for sharing your wisdom.
Oh, thank you so much, Dr. Kelly, for asking me to be a part of this community.
Well,
Ac-
I'm glad. Go ahead.
I was going to say, actually, I'm intrigued by those words, hell with joy.
You are. Well, maybe we'll talk about that more in a bit. But Held with Joy really is about this idea that while joy is always available, sometimes we can't see it. And so knowing that we are held with joy can sometimes be an easier frame to think of. And it
Mm.
actually comes from a Bible text. Um, and in this moment, I can't remember where it's found, but it's something that people hear all the time. It's repeated a lot, usually as a doxology or in church. And it says, "Now unto him who is able to keep you from falling and
Yes.
present you faultless with
Mm.
exceeding joy." And I just started to imagine if he's keeping you from falling, you're being held with exceeding joy.
Yeah. And there's a text in Romans 12,
Okay.
and it says, joy grows where faith lives.
Mm,
Version that is, but I saw it somewhere and I wrote it down. I said, oh, wow.
I love that.
Isn't that great? And that suggests that joy is sustained by forward-looking, positive expectations of our future.
I love that. I love that. Now you're going to have to write down that text and verse for me so I can have it because I've already forgotten where it's found. I love that so much.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I'd never seen it before, but like I said, having this assignment
Mm-hmm.
really made me think about joy. So whenever I heard something or saw something, I said, oh, joy, joy, yeah. So
I love that I sparked you looking for joy.
yeah,
That brings me joy. So, my first question for you is that, you've lived through a lots of seasons, and when you look back, how has your understanding of joy changed over time? Has it been the same? Has it changed? What would you say?
I would say it definitely has changed because I was not focused on joy. I was focused on getting through each season. And
Mm-hmm.
uh, it could have been lending a helping hand, which I like to do, because when I looked at all of those, I heard you say all of those different seasons, each of
Yeah.
them are people oriented,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. So I thought about service, that it was service. It was realizing that life brings satisfaction and contentment when you feel that is your passion. So whatever I was doing, that thread ran through each of my roles and seasons of life.
Okay. Okay. So you're more focused on serving others, and you hadn't really. Is there a season where you felt like there was more joy available than other times?
Oh yes, that was in coaching. I
Okay.
love coaching, because you're there to help other people realize their goals, to help them to be self-aware, to help them uh, talk about their goals. And,
Okay.
and you do more listening than talking because that's what I like. You do more listening than talking.
More listening than talking. So I got you out here talking when you prefer to listen.
Exactly, exactly.
But
So
I
I
have,
like hearing what people have to say about their life.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, clearly I do too. So we hold that in common.
Mhm.
There are many people who believe that joy and sorrow can't coexist. From your experience, what might you say about that?
They definitely can coexist.
Okay.
It's no, at least in my experience, because when I think even about my husband when he passed,
Yeah.
um, even in the immediate moments while I was saying no, no, not now, the
Hmm.
other thought in my head was a sigh of relief that he's not in pain.
Yeah.
He's resting. That was joy because he was fighting to be, to stay with us.
Yeah.
He didn't want to disappoint us. This is what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
he just released that and closed his eyes. I said, okay, you've had a good life.
Yeah.
And that brought me joy. It really did.
Yeah. Yeah. And I could see how the joy and the sorrow would intermingle there.
They did. They really did. And since then, um, I find more and more joy. So while I have days that are lonely days,
Okay.
I have days that are down, like, oh, I don't know if you can do this particular day.
Yeah.
But since I've lived in this house, what, 50 years,
Wow.
there are so many memories in this house, and good memories. And the things that he liked, he loved family, and I can find pictures of family. I took down some, but there are still.
Okay.
And whenever he thought about family, he was joyful. So when I see family, I think of him, and I say, "Oh,
Yeah.
that's it, really like this," or something is happening. So they coexist. In fact, if you have, I think if your grief is very, very deep, then joy helps to balance that out for you.
Yeah. Yeah. The coexisting can make the harder parts more bearable.
That's a good way of saying it. Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. There's there is um oftentimes it can be hard to look
Mm-hmm.
for joy. And if you haven't trained your mind and your heart to do it, sometimes it can feel like you're betraying your truest emotions. I've
Mm-hmm.
at least heard people express, and I've had my own experiences where I'm like, if I look away from this painful thing to something that's more joyful, maybe I'm
Mm-hmm.
betraying my own needs. But as I've grown, I've learned that that's not true. That I can sustain the challenge much better when I can see the joy there. In fact, that's what got me into joy. I went through something really challenging, and it was during that time where I discovered joy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And I think that's what I was saying. It was painful for you. And because God made our brain so that we can have more than one emotion at the same time.
yeah, yeah,
So because of that, joy is, what's the other one said, joy comes in the morning. I mean, so sometimes it's delayed, sometimes the joy is delayed, and sometimes the joy is wild. It's happening wild, a moment
yeah,
of joy. Yeah.
yeah. I like to think of joy as always being quietly available. It may not be loud, but it's there if we have space and room to notice it.
Mm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You
Yeah,
know,
I like
some
that.
sometimes we're not. It's there could be some challenge in there. All right, we we're just talking. I have another question for you. When you think about your younger self, early in your career, because you've done so many things with your career, what would you tell her about joy in the midst of maybe ambition or exhaustion or uncertainty or parenting that has a lot of uncertainty in it?
Well, first of all, I would chuckle and say, sure, you missed out on so much joy. Trying and missed out on trying to be busy, trying to please other people,
Mm.
to even dress for other people.
Uh-oh.
Just doing so much and not thinking so much of myself. So
Okay.
I missed out on a lot of joy. Um, but as I got older, I realized that there are a lot of paths to get to the same destination.
Okay.
You can go lots of different ways and reach that destination. And so you shouldn't be so uptight. I was uptight. I was uptight. And
Really?
I was really uptight. And I could have spent more time on self-awareness.
Okay.
I could have spent more time on nurturing myself so that I could be there for my family in a way that was more I don't know what the word is, but so that I could be there for them. And
Okay.
I was too busy trying to be the right person, do the right thing.
Mm.
And I spent too much time on doing rather than being.
Mm. Okay.
So there wasn't so much joy there, at least
Yeah.
when I think about my younger self. So I would tell her to check yourself, girl, check yourself.
Well, I mean, I'm picking up a lot of messages in there because there's a couple of things you mentioned. One, that there's no joy in people pleasing. I also heard you say there's no joy in taking yourself too seriously and being uptight, right? And
Yeah.
there's no joy in neglecting yourself for
Mhm.
anything.
That's right. You picked it up. You were right on the money. You got that.
But
You got
those are the things you said. You said it. You said it. And I think it's true. I think there are seasons that it's it's hard to not do those things. And I think about maybe my younger self or even what I would want my children to know that my hope is that they don't have to go through those seasons of feeling like they have to people please, neglect themselves, or take themselves too seriously, you know?
Well, remember, my days were my younger self was in the 70s and the 80s, and that didn't begin to change, I don't think, until late 90s, 2000s. That I finally had a little time to grow up,
Okay.
say, hey, time is going, and you're not really developing the self that God wanted you to do, wanted you to do.
Do you feel like you've arrived somewhere that feels good and joyful?
I think I'm getting there.
Okay.
You know, I feel pretty content. You know that text that Paul says, I have learned
Yes.
whatever state I am in.
Yes.
So I claim that. I claim that whatever state I'm in. So I don't think I've arrived there, but I'm comfortable where I am.
Yeah. And maybe the question I asked you was a trick question. Maybe it wasn't the best. Maybe it wasn't the best question because I I think what you said is really important. I don't know that there's anywhere to arrive. We just we learn how to live and we negotiate as best we can where we are. And that text is a great one. Learning how to be content. Um, and in that contentment we can find the joy that is available in whatever season we are currently in.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I love that text.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. It's grounding because it reminds us that there are things that we hope for, and it's not that we shouldn't hope or we shouldn't have goals, but we only are where we are in the moment. And so if we're always wishing to be in another moment, we
Hmm.
can't enjoy what is here. And I think that's what the contentment is about. It's not about complacency. It's about wherever I am, there's got to be something for me here because I'm not there yet. I can't wait till I get there. There becomes here, and then you're never content.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. That's it. That's it exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I think I have another question for you. If someone listening is walking through maybe a difficult transition right now, maybe in caregiving or career change, maybe even grief, where would you gently point them to look for joy?
I have a good example, I think.
Okay.
Probably don't have time to share them both. But one is when I was caregiving for my husband.
Okay.
Um, you don't realize you find yourself getting tired, going everywhere, doing everything, doing above and beyond. And it was his nurse that said, uh, I'm going to provide you with some help. I didn't even, I knew I felt tired,
Yeah.
but I didn't know that I could get help like that.
Yeah.
And so I think I would tell the person to be patient with themselves. You can't do it all. You just cannot do it all. You treat yourself with some kindness and practice some self-compassion.
Yeah.
That's let go of the house is not where it should be in case somebody comes to visit and he sees this, they see that the dishes aren't washed or this is not done or the clothes aren't folded. Hey,
Yeah.
you can't. And so when she came, she was a godsend, and she saw things that I didn't see.
Okay.
And at each stage, it happened about 4 times. At each stage, she stepped in. She stepped in when she saw Leslie was sitting in one particular place and liked to look at the TV. She got him one of these chairs that go back. What you call those chairs?
Wow. Recliner.
A recliner. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
she got him one, and these things were all free.
Wow.
When she told me that I needed, she sent somebody for 4 hours, free. She was just a wonderful, wonderful person. She's a nurse.
Yeah.
But she was, so I would say try to listen to your body, listen to your friends that offer help.
Yeah. Accept it.
Accept, that's the word.
Accept it.
Accept the help. Accept your progress. Know that it's not no perfection coming ahead.
Yeah.
And the second one is hard for me to say. I have this friend, and he got his doctorate,
Okay.
but his wife, she was not even a college grad. And so she kept this is and so one day she just said she wanted a divorce. And he was so shocked. When I reflect on it, and I was telling him she got tired of trying to keep up. She got tired of not being enough. You got your job, I'm trying to be your partner, but I don't have all of these skills that you have. I can't just meet people like you do. And so she did a lot of trying. She did a lot of trying to invest in herself, taking these things. And she just got tired. And she said, I want a divorce. And I saw her yesterday. She looked so happy. She looked so relieved. Like, hey, yeah, I needed this. I don't want that pressure on my head.
Yeah.
So that's.
Relieve yourself of the pressure, whether it's invisible or if somebody else is putting it on you. Either way, relieve yourself of the pressure.
And I was talking, I said, I don't think you need to feel bad. I don't think you put the pressure on, but the pressure was there. She maybe put on herself, and maybe other people were saying, well, you should go back to school, whatever.
Yeah.
That pressure was there, and it was just too much. It's
Yeah.
just too much. So
All
that's what
right. So
that's what
our take homes are accept the help, accept the help, and release yourself of the pressure.
Be kind to yourself.
Give yourself some kindness.
Hmm.
Kindness. It could launch me into a whole nother thing. I love talking about self compassion, which
Hmm.
can be a topic for another day, because there's self compassion. One of the components is that self kindness, and so
Hmm.
allowing ourselves to receive help, be helped, and just being kind to ourselves, letting some of the unnecessary pressure go while we kindly encourage ourselves in ways that make most sense.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for talking with me. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you. It was relieving. It was helpful to me. I'm glad to
Good.
be a part of this, and it was not like I thought. I was a little nervous.
Yes, I know. I was going to say you were nervous and you did great. I'm so grateful you're here. I love you and thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Kelly. Dr. Kelly, I like to
No.
call
All
you.
right. Well, everyone listening, I just wanted to remind you that joy is always available in every season and in every experience. It doesn't always come easily. It doesn't always look the way we expect. Sometimes joy is quiet. Sometimes it's in rest. Sometimes it's in accepting help. Sometimes it's in self kindness, but it's there. And today, if you're listening and you're having trouble reaching it, if it feels far away or buried underneath everything you're carrying, please remember this: you are seen, you are valued, you matter, and you are held with joy. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Until next time, take gentle care of yourself. Bye now.
Bye now. Bye now.
Your life isn't slowing down. Your calendar won't clear itself. The needs keep coming, the noise keeps rising, and somewhere in the middle of all of it, you forgot to feel alive. This is your invitation to something different, a joy centered experience for women of faith who are done waiting for life to settle down before they start living. Joy isn't your reward, it's your right now. Joy University was created just for you. 8 weeks, 25 women, one framework. Joy University starts July 20th. Register at joyuniversity.co.